Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another video. Today we're going to be looking at archery in Mordhau and how you can improve in archery. Now I will just put this right here, I'm not the best archer in Mordhau, but I can give you some tips and guidance to how you can improve your archery. I've actually played some more archery when recording this video and I'm getting a lot better, and well, it's pretty fun actually, it's pretty addicting to get into archery. Let's get right into this video to teach you how you can become a good archer. Right, so the first thing we want to nail down is when you hit people. Now this is different between every bow, but then again, arrows in this game don't travel very fast. The lead is pretty much kind of the same, the difference is the damage value you get for your hit. The recurve fires the fastest and, well, sometimes it doesn't do a lot, maybe 20 damage to the heavily armored opponents, while, for example, the longbow will deal, for example, 34 damage to the heavily armored opponent, and then you have the crossbow, which will probably deal up towards 50 to 70 health per hit. Now, this is against armored opponents, so here is where armor is in place. Okay, so now we know the damage, so you basically pick the bow you want to use, or crossbow. I mean, in my opinion, I wouldn't say use to crossbow unless you're gonna sit far behind, because it takes a long time to reload and you're very exposed to other archers. So when you're aiming at a target and you fire and they're running, you sort of want to aim almost like an arm length in front of them. But if you're even further away, maybe twice that, it really depends on your distance. Just fire a shot and see how far you miss by. Sometimes they slow down in serpentine, which is annoying, but just learn the timing of where you fire arrows, and this is where you should play some horde mode. Just play horde mode, go for the bows, and just try to practice your lead, or go into, for example, a private local play and set up either a front lines or other type of mode to just practice your lead. Now, I would say it's good to just jump into a multiplayer game, because here you find all the serpentine moves and you'll get used to all this bullshit movement right away, and that is going to be really good. Now let's quickly look at the class, because there's something that is pretty important here that you should consider while you are playing with a bow. Okay, so you're in this little armory loadout and you want to make an archer character. Now what you want to make is make sure that you have 2 perks selected. Of course you can remove one of these, but I would recommend to have both. You do sacrifice the potential of having armor if you go for a very big bow, but it is definitely worth it, because an archer shouldn't even be in melee combat. So the 2 perks you want is Huntsman and Ranger. Now the reason why you want to have Huntsman is so that you can insta-kill most other archers, because it gives you a damage buff to hitting people with quivers, and Ranger just improves general bow damage, which is also really worth it when you think about it. Now you've selected your perks and you've picked your bow. I would recommend that you start with a longbow and the recurve. Those 2 are what you should start with. You get a lot of shots out, and don't be afraid of missing. Just keep unloading your arrows into the general crowd of the enemy, but try to stay at a distance and be close to an ammo crate, because that can be really useful. As a secondary weapon, I would also recommend that you bring the short sword. It is only 1 point and it is pretty damn life-saving. I'm bringing the loot because I like to fight with the loot, or sometimes hit a little tune. But then again, if you don't want to hit tunes but you want to have some heavier hits, get the goddamn short sword. I don't like the cleaver, the sword is better. In my opinion, of course. Okay, you've now practiced lead, you've made your hero class, and you're now ready for archery. Now, what you should focus on the battlefield is actually to try to pick off enemy archers first, or any injured targets. Your goal right away isn't to kill melee opponents that are fighting your friendlies. You want to try to kill the enemy archers and then move on to assisting your melee opponents. And the reason why I say assisting is because most of the time you're probably not going to get the finishing strike on the enemy, but archery can really help affect the battle and sway it to the good of your team. Now the reason why I'm saying this as well is because some people don't like archers, and I understand why, because there's an inherent team damage in this game, so be a bit careful. At least be careful with your shots, but please don't be afraid of firing your bow. It's better to fire 1 time too much than 1 time too little. Alright, now let's talk about the aim of the bow. The closer the enemy are, the more slightly above their head you want to aim almost, because it's not completely correct, but if you're aiming the recurve, the drop is going to be a lot faster than with the longbow, and the crossbow has the least amount of drop, of course, because it's firing at a goddamn hard, like, the longbow is slow drawing, but it fires a very good powerful shot, which insta-kills archers if you hit them in the chest, and it basically do a good amount of damage. If you see people with tier 2 armor, they're gonna take a lot of hit, like they're gonna take a lot of pain from the goddamn longbow. And the longbow is a pretty good middle ground between both the damage scales and it drawing pretty fast. The reload doesn't take that long, even though you don't reload a goddamn longbow. So aiming is basically based on the drop, and you can very easily adjust your aim by firing arrows. Now also, if you want to be really fast at firing the arrow, you should look at the cursor, like the aiming reticle, when it starts popping up, so you can start placing your aim right away, and this will kind of help you track your target, so when you do fire, you hit, and you're maybe gonna fire earlier as well, because you could just fire this second it's ready to fire. Also, what I want to tell you here is that you have to lead the arrows. I've seen a lot of people that are pretty close and fire straight at the enemy. This doesn't work, because the arrows don't travel as fast as you'd think. They are a bit slower, so always lead your shot. Even though they're close and you think, I can shoot him now, don't do it. Always lead a little bit. And the reason for this is because it's a projectile. It's not a hit scan. That would have been insane to say a hit scan bow. But lead your shots and take your time at the shots at long distance. Try to focus archers. Make sure you have the huntsman perk and the ranger, and pick the bow of your choice. I would recommend that you start with a longbow, and from there you should jump into multiplayer and practice the hardest first. And of course, don't be in the front line with a bow, because if they hit you, your bow goes wah, it vanishes. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did and found it helpful, please click the like down below. If you really liked the video, maybe share it with a friend. Maybe they need to learn some archery themselves. And if you really like the video, be sure to subscribe with those notifications flipped on. We're gonna try to be doing some more live streaming on Twitch, so be sure to follow that as well. Links in the description, along with a Discord link where you can join in and talk to me. I'm online most of the time, so feel free to jump in. Anyways, thank you so much to all of you that are new here, and until next time, get bloody and fire a lot of arrows on that battlefield. Don't hit friendlies, goddammit, or else.